What's going on, guys? This is G with Test Bros, and today we have a 2024 Model 3, they call it Highland, and we also, behind us, have the bumper for the performance variant. So the question in this video, what it's gonna be about is, can we replace this with the performance bumper? So this video is pretty impromptu. This has actually never been done for us. Maybe other people have already done it, but we're gonna figure things out. I mean, I've removed a lot of Model 3 bumpers. Obviously the 2017 all the way to 2024. 2024 is when the Model 3 Highland, or they call it, or the refresh model, came out in the US. But we've actually finished R&D of the do-yourself front protection kit. So if you have it, check it out. We'll put the link below where you can actually purchase the front kit, normal, standard, and then also the performance variant over there. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that I like to do, to save a lot of time, I actually look at the EPC parts catalog. Body shops have access to this, and we have access to this. But essentially, it'll give a lot more illustration of how and what parts is being used. And obviously, we already have this lifted about 2 feet off the ground, which makes it way easier than trying to get under there and also being a danger. So I looked at the performance variant. This one is actually not painted. We're gonna wrap it, so we didn't really care. So we'll definitely prep it and then wrap it. But yeah, that's what we're gonna put for now. We got our tools. Typically, you need trim removal tools. We sell these as well. And then, honestly, when you're working on Teslas, it's like two things. It's like 8 and 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is gonna be like your number one friend. So don't lose that. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up. All right, so here we go. So right off the bat, typically this will come out. I have mats right here. So I'm just gonna put this down. There's a bunch of bolts right up here, 2 right here. Let's go ahead and remove this. The Frunk is very, very similar to the previous gen. I'm just studying this a little bit. The button is really in the same place. Typically this comes out and it's on a Velcro, I think, or no, just some clips. And then you have to remove this clip right here. This is for the button and also has the thing that you can put on the front. And then you definitely probably have to remove this one because this won't come out unless you remove this. So these are all gonna be held by clips so you can kind of get it started. All right, there we go. Some big clips over here. And then, boom, there you go. I'm just gonna put it somewhere safe. This is like where the intake is for the air conditioner. I can just remove that really easily, keep it in the frunk. And then the previous one did have a screw over here. I don't see it. Okay, so immediately I feel the tension, right? So there's gotta be something probably here. You know, I never try to force anything whenever you're moving stuff. There we go. Just slides out. Definitely something's missing here. Ah, okay, now I see it. It's hard to see because it's too tall, but there's 2 screws right there, which makes sense of why I was able to pull it out. But typically this just comes out once it's done. So you see right away, I can remove the front trunk. And now you reveal all of this, right? But there is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that's holding it. Okay, so typically I like to leave at least one, like the middle one, for the last. We still need to kind of unhooked everywhere else. So I'm gonna put these screws. This is actually like whenever you work on stuff, you kind of want to keep the screws that you work on. You could label it if you are used to doing this. It's a really good habit. Put like a tape around it and put like top of the bumper or something like that, just so that you understand where it goes. You want to remove some clips inside. So typically for these, I like to just put it on the ground where I removed it. So we got some of that. removed. And then as soon as you remove it, this is really hard to see anything really. Yep, so you got a bunch of screws, a bunch of these taps. So these are very, very standard. So when you remove it, you just pretty much unlock this. And then these trim tools are amazing because it loosens that up and then it just kind of comes out really, really easily. So let's just go ahead and just look inside. I know there's going to be something right here. And I can see that there is a screw, which looks clearly like an 8mm right there. So that's an 8mm, and that's what's going to be holding right over here. Bring this back. That should be good. Let me see if there's any other ones. And I could definitely, that's a lot simpler than the previous one. There was a lot more bolts in the previous gen. So I got that side. I want to see if I could loosen this. There you go. So there's a bracket. So right underneath that, I'm gonna go ahead and tape this real quick. When we are working on removals, always try to be a little bit more careful. Just gonna go ahead and tape this up, just so that I don't scratch any of the areas. But I'm looking at this, there is a bunch of pretty much clips that is all the way underneath the bumper. And then there is a number 5, which is an M6. Oh, crap. I thought this was interesting. I thought it was clips. It's actually, I've never looked below because I never lifted it up since we got it. It's a bunch of T40s. So I was wrong. One thing that I've noticed with Tesla lately is that they've been using a lot of T40s. So the mirrors, for example, on the Cybertruck also uses T40. So pretty common, I think. But this. Sweet. All right, so now the diffuser, oh, there's water, is loose. There should be a nut right here. Oh, yep, I feel it. All the way in. And it's right here. You see that disconnecting right there? It's exactly what you want. Boom. All right. Look at that. You see that bolt right there just goes in here, and then there's a 10 mil that holds it. So that's really the last part that I think you need to remove. And then I'm going to do what I did on the other side. So far, so good. Pretty straightforward. All right. So I got my all right. And then typically my trick is kind of go up and then pull back. And then we should be pretty good. I just like putting a chair like that. And then that way, oh, wow, look at that. So that one clipped out like super easy. Shoot. If you wanted to, you could kind of use that as a all right. When you're removing bumpers, you have to be careful though, right? You don't want to overdo it. But you can see this is completely off, right, guys? But whenever you do this, you don't want to use the metal thing that I was using underneath, you definitely want to use a plastic trim. And I like using things like this. Make sure they're shaved off, right? So it's not. So if you look, let me just look here real quick. There's an obvious clip. So if you push down, it should actually loosen that up. So what I'm trying to do, just make sure that I get the center right here. I see it. And honestly, should just clip out. Just don't want to make sure you damage anything. Wonder if there's any like push button. Oh yeah. Ouch. I feel it coming out. Oh yeah, that part's out. There you go. So we got this completely loosened at this point, and then I can see that all of the bumper is loosened. I'm just gonna look at the bottom. So you can kind of see it's starting to come out. I can feel it in the bottom. There's another one right here. Oh, there you go. That finally came out, and this chair is gonna hold that, and look at that. It's starting to come out and starting to weigh down. There's some connections right here. All right, so the harness, guys, is right there. So there's actually two that you need to look out for. One is going to be the main one. And you just remove it, and it just comes out. And then there is going to be another one. That's going to be the PWS, which is going to be the sound system whenever you go in slow speeds, right? But that is actually what's holding it. All right, so I'm gonna slowly and gently bring this down, guys, and just put it down here. And you can see, that's how you pretty much remove the bumper. So, not so bad, very, very similar to the previous gen. Couple of differences is that, you know, they use like the Torx 40. I don't remember the PWS being connected directly to the bumper as well, having me to remove that, but that's fine. And then obviously the connector is very, very similar as well. But let me just show you the inside over here on how it works so you guys can understand a little bit. That's the PWS, which is the sound system for outside when you're at low speeds. This is the main harness that connects it with all the sensors here. This is the intake over here that goes into this. This kind of opens and closes. And the Torx actually goes into this little claw, which is slightly different than the previous one, right? Normally it was just a push clip, right? So very, very different. And then this is where the 10 mil was mounted. And then you can see one connection right here. But that is pretty much it. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this aside so it's nice and safe. And we're just gonna fit it, okay? So let's see how this works. So I actually have it in this, what we call like a bumper holder, which is really cool. And I just wanna see if this actually works first. Okay, so I don't see why it wouldn't, but check this out. It's about to become a performance Model 3. You can see that relatively, I don't really see why it wouldn't fit. There you go. That's the placement right there, and that's the placement right there. So, you know what's different here? That's what I need to figure out right now. All right, so the other part to this is this thing. I actually didn't take a whole lot of time to figure this out. So this is something that I think is gonna take me longer than putting this bumper together. So I wonder if it goes in, there you go, kind of like this, into this same thing. Before I even put it on, let me just take it out. Oh yeah, so I see the hole. All right, so this is just a test bumper. I know. I should be definitely a lot more careful. But here it is. It kind of goes into this hole right here. Boom. And then this should go inside here, pretty sure, like that. So there's actually inserts that go in. And then I'm assuming it goes into that. Same thing here. You gotta go all the way inside. There you go. And there's all those clips. That looks pretty good. All right, so as I'm learning, it's a pretty easy construction, but there's definitely, it needs to be attached right here. So again, this is where I kind of go back to the schematics. It's supposed to be 2/16s, which I have right here, guys. All right, so it's at the bottom of the bumper. Kind of like this. Oh, I see. So it's probably right here. So I'm not sure if it's like this. It feels like it should be this way. That feels right. It fits. So this is interesting because this is actually, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure. What this does is it just clips in and then keeps the actual, this thing right here, which means that when you remove it, you really need to remove all of this. I just want to compare real quick. You see this? So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actually. And there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's exactly 8. All right, so one thing about these is that this is what it'll look like right here, right? So it's actually a square, but it's threaded. So that's where that hex actually goes through. So you actually do need to remove all of these. And to do that, you just pinch it with a nose head and then just push it down. Ow, that hurt. Probably should wear, gloves and stuff. Always forget to do that. I'm not gonna lie. If we were changing this, the older one is definitely a lot easier, I feel like. So let's talk about the harness, okay? Because that's also pretty important, okay? So putting it into this perspective right here. Ow. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out where the harness would go, and I don't see like a specific area for it. Okay, so I see some of the harness over here, guys. So definitely like all these are gonna be the areas where you would try to, I think, put that in there. So this one right here is very, very similar to this one. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this real quick. All right, so let's go ahead. Okay. So it just is a, all right, so we got pretty much all of that. And then I'll figure out a place to kind of harness all this. Yeah, I don't think this will fit. So if you look at this actually is kind of, actually, this might fit. I got it. So these are T25 right here. This is pretty standard for a lot of them. And it's these clips right here. You should be able to just loosen it up. So actually, why don't I just use a bumper holder? I didn't realize, I totally forgot about that thing that goes up there. So I think it should be the same one, but I'm about to find out if it isn't. Because I could just put it up here and not scratch anything. The way to remove this is actually very, very similar to the previous gen. There's these clips right here. It gets loosened, but you gotta loosen all the other ones first. It's kind of like in, and then out, and then there you go. So like that one's out. I don't know if you see that difference right here. That one's out. That one's out. Okay, and then kind of continue your way. You can hear some of them like clip back. Okay. All right, so you can start seeing things come out. So, you know what sucks is if this doesn't actually fit. But you know what? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. It feels like it won't. The shape looks very similar though. So, this is the only worry right now is that this might totally not fit because, yeah, let me just double check because before I keep doing this, I just confirm with the parts catalog that grill won't actually fit. So we're gonna continue this. I'm gonna order that part right away, but you would need to put a new grill. The harness I'm gonna keep exactly how it is. I'm glad that I removed it from this one since we're gonna have to remove it anyway. You can see right here what's wrong is that this is what usually holds the harness right here, right? So like you see this is kind of where it kind of clips into it. And this is traditionally, even in the previous models, that's how it's been. One other thing that I'm trying to figure out is this right here. So I understand that this all clips in and then the grill clips in, right? The performance grill that we don't have yet. And I think these are some for the harness. So this is where there's like holes for harness right here. And it makes sense, right? So if you look at this, it's only on this side. Why? Because the connector is gonna be on this side. And this is why you have those two right here. So this is probably for the harness leading up to that connects it from the grill all the way here. But for today, I don't wanna leave it hanging like this. I still wanna see, does it fit the actual bumper? There we go. So let's put the harness in a safe place. All right, so we got the bumper. We're gonna put it on and we'll see how well it fits. So we're gonna go ahead, go right down the center. Whoa. That looks pretty mean though. So it looks like this diffuser would actually go perfectly underneath it. So yeah, it'll just go underneath it, just like the other one. Oh yeah, this is perfect. That part is the same. So thank God that some of these are the same. So it's still impressive that I think a lot of them are still shared. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just placing this. All right, so the bottom is pretty much lined up. The bottom protectant and is pretty much the same. It lines up perfectly. Obviously, all of this is the same. The headlight, the harness should be the same once you connect it. Again, the diffuser is going to be different. That's really the only difference. So let's go ahead and put this in. This is just for looks for now, guys. It's not anything for alignment or. So we are gonna put this on because we do want to show you how it looks like. Obviously the grill's not gonna be intact, but we already ordered the part, so it should be here in a few days, and then we'll show you the rest. So stay tuned on that video. But pretty much I have all of these aligned. Everything is looking good. And everything is in. I lied, it's not in. This is why it's, there you go, now it's in. There you go. So then now we can actually start putting this into this. Look at that. Okay, and this is the fun part, right into some of the bumper right here. All right, so I'm still figuring this part out right here. There's going to be, so it feels close, but not quite. Like for example, like I don't know if this, I'm pretty sure this is not supposed to come out that far out. So there's something here that's not fitting properly. Right, so this is supposed to go in a little bit more inside and underneath the headlight. So that's something that we definitely need to work on. But I'm not too worried yet because I'm still waiting on some parts. So I think we're definitely gonna, loosen this up. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we're trying to figure this out. We definitely should have done a lot more research before doing this. But hey, sometimes we try things out and then we try to figure it out. So as you can see, I'm not gonna say the bumper fit's perfect. And there's a reason why. So obviously I mentioned that the bumper is completely different, the fascia, but also the bottom lip right here is completely different. So this is actually a 2-part compared to just a 1-part on the normal standard or base range or whatever they call it. And then on top of that, the grille, as we found out, which looks like this grille right here is also slightly different. So when we tried to put this on, it did not fit. I looked at it, I confirmed it, it is a different part number. And then on top of that, I was wondering, why is it not linking up right here the way it's supposed to? I can't imagine, like the headlight, same. So that shouldn't be an issue. However, this under tray right here has also, it's called valance. It does have a different part number for that as well. So that's exactly why it's not fitting properly. What we're gonna do is just release this real quick. I'm gonna release the other side as well. And there we go. Really, really easy to release, right? I'm gonna let that go. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this diffuser right here. All right, so I got my part right here. Okay, I got that. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this again. Okay, nothing was connected, no harness. But since all of this is good now, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this as well. And then if you're wondering what's holding it, it's a bunch of trims. This is gonna fall once I remove this, guys. Boom, told you. It's not too important. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this as well. It's hard to see. Boom, one more. And then look at that, it just fell down. So Now that we have that out of the way, will it fit properly? We'll find out. And I don't know, almost immediately, I think I like the way this looks. Definitely better. Could use some more work, but I think definitely better than that first one. And we're going to study this a little bit more, but there you have it. I mean, I guess once we like put this down like this, it will look better. Like it should be like here, like this. I got it. That's how it should fit. So one of the things that we realized is this has been sitting in R&D mode on that thing, so it might have shifted a little bit, right? We kind of left it like that for a while we're working on it, and by putting this in, this has to be underneath that light and looks perfect now, right? Obviously, this is not painted. You can't really get a painted version, but it fits really, really well. What we learned, though, is that the front grille is actually also a different part. And then this underbody right here that connects to the actual bumper is also different. And of course, the bumper is a two-part and not a one-part. But other than that, everything else fits almost the same. And from my knowledge, I don't think anything else will be different. So does this make your car faster? Absolutely not. That's not really the point, but it's really trying to answer, can we do this? If you wanted to change the look of your car and you wanted that performance look, is it possible if you can do it? And yes, I think it is. We already got the parts ordered, so it should be here in the next few days, hopefully very, very soon. And as soon as we get that, we're going to do an update on this video, so stay tuned. Hopefully we get that to you as soon as we can. But thank you guys so much for watching, staying with it. I think this was a fun experience. This looks pretty cool. Now we have a performance, obviously. We're going to wrap this, so this is going to look more same color. But I think this looks awesome. It fits great, and we're really happy with it. We'll see you next time. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. Click on that subscribe, and see you later.